Hello, Oakwood artist. It is Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. It's our 81st day of sketching together. Welcome back. Hope you're having an amazing week. The weather has been so beautiful. If you like cooler days and something that feels like a warm fall day, then you are loving this week, I'm sure, because I am. Okay, so we have the Active Art Challenge that the Vitality Fitness Center is putting on. You may have read about it in the Campus Connection, and you may have heard about it on Channel 900 or somewhere around campus. But I want to remind us about it because it's coming up really quickly. It's art is due on, I believe, Friday, September 4th, and we haven't been talking about it a lot. So I wanted to give you the words that Alex came up with for that art challenge. So what we're asking for is art in any manner that you've created. It can be a collage, a painting, a drawing, sketching. It can be multimedia. It can be something that can be hangable art. I think that the plan is for those that are chosen out of this challenge is to have them photographed and then made into hangable canvas. So some of the words, and there are so many more words that you might connect with and can think of, but I wanted to throw them out there. So words that will inspire our art making for the Active Art Challenge art piece. And that could be of any size, so make it whatever size you'd like. And it's all 2D art. So those of us who are sculptors, if we can incorporate a bit of 3D element into our 2D flat piece, we can make it happen. Okay, so some of the words that Alex came up with were fitness, rejuvenate, strength, elevating, liveliness, stability, inspiring, effervescence, dynamic, uplifting, independence, revive, vibrancy, balance, growth, and fun. I think I forgot one on here and I added two wellness. Healthy aging, energy, wellness, therapeutic, active aging. Maybe it was healthy aging. I'm not sure. I know I missed one. Mindfulness, invigorate, mobility, restorative, on the bottom, agility, flexibility, enriching, vitality, and thrive. So you could even use the words. How could you use these words and make them into an image? How can you, first of all, I might make a list of all the words that inspire me. Some people were in the studio this week and they wrote down a few of them that they connected with. Others chose one word. Some might choose to incorporate so many words and physically incorporate the word into their work of art. So please be working on that. We've got about, let's see, if today is the 19th, we've got about 2.5 weeks, a little bit less than 2.5 weeks. We have 2 weeks and 2 days to get rolling on this art. So let's get active in this art active challenge and let's see what we can come up with in terms of art making and what words that connect to us to restore us to that place of real great wellness in our minds, our bodies, and our souls. So think about it that way too. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to just think about certainly physical wellness when we go into the Vitality Fitness Center. We're working on all of us, right? Just like when we're making art, we're working on all of us. We are, well, I'm not doing a whole lot of physical exercise, but sometimes I carry a lot of art supplies. I take too much with me everywhere I go. So that part offers a bit of exercise, but I need to do more of the moving as I'm working on my art. Okay, so today's question is, who in art is the greatest artist ever? Who in history is the greatest artist ever? Now, if you go to the internet, boy, the internet is so subjective. Every site will tell you something different. You think that the internet might be the golden rule, might be the law on what happens, what the answers are in the universe. But it certainly is not. It is subjective to the person writing the article or putting together that slide presentation, whatever it is. So I came up with a few things. First, I found a site that said, undoubtedly it was Pablo Picasso. How could it be anyone else? Okay, well, if you like Pablo Picasso, yes, he is the greatest painter ever. He is the most, I think he was very versatile, and that he versatile, that's not a word. He diversified, he was versatile, and he he adapted his art throughout time, throughout his experiences, throughout the eras of his life. And so definitely he was an adaptive, versatile artist. But was he the best? Well, everyone has their own opinion, right? And that's so who's the greatest artist? Well, are we talking about living or dead or still to come? Who knows? But I found a list and it goes like this. And I'd agree with some of these people on this list, and you may as well. So on the list for number 10 was Paul Cézanne, more modern artist, the turn of the century. Jean Vermeer. Jean Vermeer painted The Girl with the Pearl Earring. Auguste Renoir. Now, sometimes in the Oakwood Art Gallery, I have some Renoirs hanging. And Renoir made beautiful, beautiful paintings. He was a friend of Claude Monet's, and together, of course, they did lots of Impressionism. So, you know, a beautiful portrait artist, but all of these artists are going to make portraits of people in their very own way. Then Raphael. Raphael painted a lot of the Virgin Mary, Madonna, and Child. Pablo Picasso. And I've also saw a list of the best 10 paintings of all time. And Pablo Picasso's Peace Dove, which is a little tiny painting, a very simplistic, stylized painting of a dove, was said to be one of the greatest paintings of all time. Now, I would argue that that some of his paintings could be. And I'm forgetting the title of his painting I wanted to talk about today, so maybe another day I'll bring up that painting. Very popular painting, and I can't think of it at the moment, so I'll save that for another day. Okay, then after Pablo Picasso, who was number 6, you have Claude Monet. And Claude Monet could paint so many things, and did. You know, we know him for his work in Normandy and his all of his water lilies and ponds, but he did so many other things, from sailboats to winter scenes to haystacks to cathedrals to you name it. Claude Monet did it. He, however, was not big into portrait painting. I'm sure at some point that he did, but he doesn't have a lot of them out there. So I wouldn't even recognize a Claude Monet portrait. Then there's Michelangelo. Now, Michelangelo, I think, has to be one of the hardest working artists there probably ever was. He worked in marble. Now, to talk about versatile, an artist who works in marble, who can paint, who can craft, who can do it all, Michelangelo. And it came from that time period where artists, that's what they did. Some of those artists, magnificent artists, could do it all. So Michelangelo, most famous, I'm sure, for painting the Sistine Chapel, the ceilings of the Sistine Chapel. And you may know that for 4 years he laid on his back, extending his arm overhead about 18 inches. So, well, even, I don't know, maybe even higher, but for about like that probably is how he was painting. So his scaffolding was pretty high to the ceiling, and he painted for 4 years straight. That's a long time. I haven't done anything 4 years straight. I've gone to work, been a mom, been a wife, those kind of things, been a kid. But in terms of doing something that takes that much time and energy and effort, and the strenuous effort of laying on my back, painting with my arm in the air, that's hard work. It's said that after that, for the rest of his life, he held his mail above his head to read it. And I believe that. I believe that somehow That's how his eyesight worked after looking that closely upward for 4 years. Then there's Rembrandt, and Rembrandt is a great portrait artist. That he's number 3. Then there's Vincent van Gogh. Now, again, we talked about a lot about Vincent van Gogh in this series. Vincent van Gogh painted over 800 paintings in his life, and he sold one, I believe. And so he never had the notoriety that he had after his life ended. So this is a cafe scene. And again, you know, Vincent van Gogh loved to use golds and blues and navies and black paint in his work. So there's a lot of light illuminated, and then there's a lot of that nighttime sky in his scenes. Okay, and then the number 1, according to this website that I pulled off, is Leonardo da Vinci. We've talked about Leonardo da Vinci, of course, most famous for the Mona Lisa. And Leonardo da Vinci, in comparison to some of these artists on here, didn't paint a whole lot. He was an inventor, he was a writer, but he had very few paintings in comparison to, Renoir or Monet or Cezanne. Any of them, really. He did not paint as much as they did, but he was a master at all that he did. So, making him the number 1 artist on this list. So, who do you think the greatest artist of all time is? Love to hear from you. Send me an email, jennifer.bethel, that's BETHEL, at oakwoodvillage.net, or give me a call, 230-4324, 230-4324. I'd love to hear who you believe is the greatest artist of all time and why. Okay, have a fabulous day. I'll see you back here tomorrow.